Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to the Atomic Snack Bar. And tonight we'll be discussing some of my favorite Creature from the Black Lagoon inspired monsters. Though Creature-esque monsters would probably be a more fitting title, it just wasn't quite as snappy. And this ranking is for the creatures only, not the films they appear in. And number 5 on the list is the Amphibian creature from Destination Inner Space from 1966. And Destination Inner Space tells the story of the discovery of a seemingly empty flying saucer found in the ocean. The crew of a nearby sea lab
That is exact change, jerkface.
start poking around said saucer and discover an unknown cylinder-like object. They then take this mysterious cylinder back to the sea lab, and from it emerges an aquatic alien monster who doesn't seem to like sea labs very much. And we are starting off with a bang, because this is a great looking water-based monster. Nice and colorful, yet still manages to be threatening looking. And the amphibian creature was created by Richard Casarino. Casarino was an art director and monster maker who was also responsible for the hideous sun demon design and costume. Casarino said that he mixed a sea creature with dragon-like proportions and gave it the head of a demonic serpent. And it took about 2 months to build the suit, and he would test it out in a swimming pool. Casarino only has 2 confirmed monster credits that I could find, but according to a 1966 episode of To Tell the Truth, he created 7, including a space monster and a giant octopus. Much like the creature from the Black Lagoon, there were multiple suit actors for the amphibian creature. Ron Burke wore the suit for publicity photos and all the above-water shots filmed in Hollywood. Burke was an actor and stuntman with appearances on The Green Hornet, Star Trek, Batman 66, and the Oscar-nominated Quark. Then for the underwater shots, which were filmed in Florida, we have an unnamed stuntman. And number 4 on the list, the hot dog-mouthed monster, and to a lesser degree his buddies, from The Horror of Party Beach from 1964. And this Orson Welles directed period piece drama tells the story of a skeleton who's minding his own business off the coast of a small beach town. After being exposed to radioactive waste, the skeleton is transformed into an aquatic monster who wants nothing more than to boogie down and cause a little mayhem. And he's not alone, soon picking up some buddy monsters in the process. And this guy is one of the most charming creature-esque creatures you are likely to see. He kinda looks like the Gill Man had a baby with Gappa the Triphibian monster that really, and I mean really, likes hot dogs. And yep, I'm doing the whole inappropriate pairings bit. But I'm kind of a 2 or 3 trick pony. A donut reference, a weird pairing, a Forrest Chucker joke. Pretty much all you're gonna get from this channel. But the monsters in the Horror of Party Beach were designed by Bob Verbekmos. Verbekmos was primarily an art director who also worked on I Eat Your Skin and Curse of the Living Corpse. The Horror of Party Beach appears to be his only costume design credit. Only 2 full monster suits were built, though I've heard mention of a possible third. But of the 2 confirmed suits, one was too small for the unnamed stuntman who was supposed to wear it. So 16-year-old Charles Friedman, the son of a production assistant, was brought in to wear the costume. The head of the creature sat well above the actors, so the actors were actually looking out holes in the monster's neck. And being that there were only 2 or 3 suits, scenes featuring multiple monsters were achieved using clever film tricks. One of the creatures would go on to receive a really nice 6-scale figure. And I nearly bought that Joker, but didn't for top secret clown reasons. Now I wish I had. And finally, supposedly director Del Tenney held on to the creature costumes and would wear the adult-sized one at parties to get some laughs. And number 3 on the list, the Slithis from Spawn of the Slithis, aka Slithis, from 1978. And Slithis tells the story of the discovery of what is essentially a brand new kind of mud at the bottom of a lagoon. And where this brand new kind of mud came from, you may be asking? From a power plant leak, of course. And soon said mud mutates even further and turns into our aquatic pal, who begins to terrorize Venice, California. And I'm sure you're already picking up on a theme here of mutant creatures attacking coastal towns. And this is yet another great looking water-based monster. Reminds me a bit of the Zoonoids from the second Guyver film. I could also imagine him battling the Ninja Turtles. And Slithis was designed by artist Catherine Dieter. Dieter's only other film credit that I could find was the 1976 made-for-TV film Brenda Starr, where she apparently designed some voodoo statues. The film, as you may have guessed, was based on the famous comic strip. The suit actor for Slithis was Win Condict. Condict was a lifeguard and model, and this appears to be his only film role. Though there is a rumor, that I just made up, that he contributed to the Baywatch meets Slithis meets Humanoids from the Deep fanfiction that Gappa and I are currently working on. I mean, never mind, we're not doing anything like that. The most common piece of trivia associated with the film is that in order to make the costume appear seamless, Condict was sewn into it and had to spend the entire shoot day inside the suit. Not saying this isn't true, but try as I might, I could not confirm this. Slithis never appeared on screen again, though there are rumors of a failed attempt at a sequel, but apparently Steven Traxler toured the US making appearances at drive-in theaters. He would bring along the costume and hire a local young person to wear it. And on that, we should take a break.
Hi, I'm the Soaky Kid. Now Soaky the Fun Bath comes in 2 brand new monster toys.
The creature from the Black Lagoon. That's cold.
And the Mummy. Wow, what happened to you?
I fell off my bike, Sonny.
Here's something to cheer you up. The brand new Soaky toys.
Me, Mummy.
And me, the creature.
Come on, let's take a Soaky Fun Bath right now. Bet you these new monster toys will scare the dirt away. Soaky soaks you clean in oceans full of fun.
Shrubbity bubbly flippity floppity.
Flee before you're done. Soaky soaks you clean.
And every girl and boy
Gets a toy when it's empty, when it's empty,
it's a toy.
Look for Soaky the Fun Bath in the new monster toys. The creature and the mummy.
take a soaky bath today.
Fun, fun, fun.
More fun than getting dirty.
And we're back with number 2 on the list, and that's the sleazy fish-like mutants from Humanoids from the Deep from 1980. And Humanoids tells the story of yet another coastal town in California being terrorized by a group of mutant aquatic creatures. Only this time, it's all due to an experimental growth hormone given to some salmon that were then eaten by other fish. And voila, we have the friskiest gillmen to ever grace the silver screen. These guys make the creature from the Black Lagoon seem downright innocent in comparison. Speaking of, at one point the film was titled The Humanoids from the Deep, further showing its connection to the creature from the Black Lagoon. There's a whole bunch of interesting information about this one, including the cast and crew's surprise at all the fish shenanigans that were added after the fact. But that isn't what this video is about. The aforementioned humanoids...
The first humanoid robot. This story concerns them.
Nope, wrong humanoids. Though imagine what that crossover would have been like. But the aforementioned humanoids were designed by Rob Bottin, a name I'm sure many of you know. Bottin is a legendary special effects artist with work on The Thing, RoboCop, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and many, many more. Fun fact, Bottin played the tallest member of the Cantina Band in that seldom discussed space opera film Star Wars. And from comments on past videos, it's clear not many of you are aware of this whole Star Wars thing either. Several actors are credited as playing the Pepe Le Pew-esque fishmen, including Bottin himself, special effects artist Steve Johnson, and production assistant Kent Adamson. And now for this entry supposedly. But supposedly, there were only 3 suits built for the film, and only 1 of those were fully functional. Though I don't know what was exactly meant by fully functional. Mind out of the gutter, people, it's not that kind of channel. Well, anymore. And finally, I wanted to mention that the Humanoids also got the action figure treatment, though in a smaller scale, courtesy of the Monstars toy line. There's even a version that glows in the dark. Now it's time for an honorable mention, and that's the Gillman from the Monster Squad from 1987. And he was designed, at least some of the concept art, by the great Stan Winston. Matt Rose and Steve Wang, who also worked on The Predator, actually built the suit. Wang would go on to co-direct the first Guyver film and fully direct the sequel. That's 2 Guyver references in one episode. Yep, talent. And another honorable mention is the sea creature from the monster from Praeger's Blancus from 1959. But I already covered that fine gentleman in my top 1950s sci-fi monsters episode, which you can conveniently watch for the low, low price of your sanity. And number 1 on the list, the giant water ghoulie from Ghoulies 2 from 1987. Remember when I said these entries were just about the creatures and not the films? Well, I guess I'm just a filthy liar, because this one just happens to be my favorite film on the list as well. And Ghoulies 2 tells the story of those lovable little ghoulies, my favorite of the mini monsters that came in the wake of Gremlins, as they cause a little good-natured violence and mayhem at a carnival. And I really can't say much more, especially about the giant ghoulie, because that would be all kinds of spoilery. I probably can't even show that much footage either. But
that's the way she goes.
That's the way she goes?
That's right. That's the way she goes.
And the Ghoulies were designed by the late, great John Carl Buechler. And I realized recently that I've been mispronouncing the name for years. But Buechler was a man of many, many talents. Directing, acting, writing, and maybe most importantly, special effects. He is one of the true unsung heroes of cinema. His work on Cellar Dweller is near unmatched. The Dweller looks every bit as good, if not better, than anything from big budget films at the time. It looks like it could have come right out of the Jim Henson Creature Shop, and it darn sure looks better than the CGI schlop of nowadays. But back to Ghoulies, because I could, and probably should, do an entire episode just about John Carl Buechler. The giant ghoulie was played by Thomas Flouts. Flouts was a special effects artist of note as well, and also worked on Creepazoids, From Beyond, and Showdown in Little Tokyo. And Hot Dog, a Showdown in Little Tokyo reference in a Creature from the Black Lagoon-esque Monsters video. But I've been looking for an excuse to talk action movies for some time, so there you are. And that's almost all the time we have left for this week. But before I go, I wanted to point out my Ricky Blaylock Creature from the Black Lagoon shirt. And yes, it made my leg hair fall out.